On. Okay, guys. So we're gonna be doing some changes on these couple hours with the either with the well. First of all, we need to change the headlights to be more prominent. So let's do that. The energy I need to be like even almost triple. So let's do 90. Um let's do volumetric fog. It is all right. We need a little bit more clear light. The size it is I don't know, let's do 1 meter. Let's save it. And we need to close the spotlights because if we start the scene, the game without being closed, it will be starting the game like to have some reference into like what is the best engine, which it is for now Godot. Honestly, open source, like super um accessible. Yeah, the light I do have those looks nice. Maybe too much. There's this problem which I don't like. Maybe because it is affecting with the bloom. So let's see. It is the um we were messing around with the size. Maybe with the volumetric fog energy. Let's do like 0.1. Maybe is that the indirect energy. Indirect, I don't know, maybe zero point 0.2, and we will check that if there is something that specular light. Honestly, don't we need to be tweaking a little bit that because I don't know that much about the lightning. We are like learning into Go, so let's check it out. Yeah, it did improve. Um, well, we need to check in that exact angle. Yeah, it's better overall. Maybe we need more power, but it is in the way that we're intended to be. The fog, it may be way too big, like too much of a fog. Because at least if we are like walking, we may need the fog to be not as close, so there is much more detail on the trees. But if we are going like super fast, we may lose the track pretty, we're getting pretty much lost. Um, there is a deal with the scaling on the character because I can either, ooh, yeah, we're dead. We can either be doing scaling down the character, scaling up the character, which is making some trouble on the chairs that I have, scripting on the chairs. So there is a problem with that. Let's do 190. Much more energy. I do like the color. Let's go again with demo. Let's change the fog. I was tweaking with the fog because the fog, I want to be blending the fog with the LOD in the terrain. So it is kind of hiding the barrier between the horizon and the land. So it's not looking as bad if you're looking at the ground at the distance. Um but it is like way too much fog, volumetric fog. So let's go with animation. Let's go with this, and this is the deal that we're having. Um, so I want to put it less that I wanted, and the cycle pretty much. I'm talking with the day and night cycle. In the day, there is not much big of a deal, but in the night, I believe there is way too much fog density. So maybe let's do 0.1 the density. Um, maybe 0.2. Yeah. Now um let's try again. Let's just fix the fog and let's go to the scaling. Basically in this episode, in this couple of hours, I'll try to be fixing the scale issue. So I can either way tweak, mess around with the car and make the cars much more smaller, or I can make the character to fix the problem with the sitting in the chair because we sit in the chair. The logic that I'm having trouble with it is that when you sit, it goes back to scaling 1.0, so it is like it goes to like a mini me basically. So what I'm trying to do is to make the character same height. Yeah, it is like the light. I do like the lightning this brighter. Um okay, let me try to another thing to be implementing the sound into OBS so you guys can hear the the car. So maybe audio output.
Normally not push to continue, and you can't
Let's
pause the
go
cutscenes, making it pretty much useless, other than Japanese listening practice. There are push to continue sections in the game though, but for the most part those aren't voice acted. Actually, I didn't really see any that were voice acted. So those sections would be a C tier, but unfortunately, as there are parts of the game that you just can't take at your own pace, it gets a C-. Number 96, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Oh, what a pretty game this is. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has full Japanese voice acting, and you can pause the cutscenes. There isn't unfortunately any push to continue sections in the game as it kind of plays out like a movie, but you can take all the dialogue that appears during the game at your own pace just by pressing the pause button. The text is still visible. I checked this personally. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle could be an interesting game if you want to learn Japanese with, as long as you're okay pressing the pause button with each line, giving it a C-. Number 95, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. So here's another one of those games that has Japanese voice acting, but unfortunately no push to continue. So Death Stranding 2 has the same issues with Indiana Jones. You can't really take it at your own pace. However, you can pause the cutscenes and the text is still visible, and they even show you like a progress bar to show you how much of the cutscene you've actually seen. It would be great if you could also replay the scene, but you can't. So unfortunately, Death Stranding 2 gets a C-. Number 94, Hunter x Hunter Nen X Impact. So now we're moving on to the C tier games. Hunter x Hunter has full push to continue, but unfortunately no Japanese voice acting whatsoever. It does have a log, but as there's no Japanese voice acting, it doesn't really matter. So this is a base standard C tier game. It has Japanese text so you can take it at your own pace, but that's it. Number 93, Sid Meier's Civilization 7. So another passing score here for Civilization 7. This game does have push to continue, but not really any Japanese voice acting. There might be a tiny bit in these little interactions, but not really enough to learn with. So Civ 7 gets a C. Number 92, Hollow's Hanafuda. So next up we have a card game that appears to be with some VTubers. I don't watch any VTubers, so I'm not sure, but they certainly look like VTubers, and I'm pretty sure one of those characters was one of the famous ones, the other dog one. Hollow's Hanafuda has push to continue, and it has a log, but unfortunately there's no Japanese voice acting, so the log is kind of useless. But there is some story that happens as you play the game, so you get a little bit of card play and then a little bit of story. So Hollow's Hanafuda gets a passing score, a C. Number 91, Shadow Labyrinth. So the next game, Shadow Labyrinth, is kind of a 2D action platformer that's kind of reminiscent of Castlevania. However, you have Pac-Man along with you for the ride. Shadow Labyrinth has Japanese text with push to continue, but no voice acting or anything like that. This is definitely a game if you're wanting kind of a light learning experience but heavy gameplay. There is a story that you can go.
Raise this, the text, cam. Sorry guys, I'm fixing browser. Okay, this is a browser. Microphone, it is all good. Display capture, this is the media source. I'm not playing it. I can erase it, yes. For now. Now let's clean the erasing the resources. And let's go with the game capture. So again, if we're capturing a full screen, to capture the audio. So if we play the scene again, Let's hope the game capture does capture the sound. Even though we're not looking at the game per se, we're looking at the display of my monitor. No, it is not working. Sorry, guys. Maybe if I put it in the top. So you hear it? No. Um I think it is now. You can now hear it. Yes, you can hear it. Let's change it a little bit so it is not as loud. I think it did bug. We have a problem. I'm gonna load it again just to check. It is already saving the sounds. If not, I guess the other way it is just to basic. Oh yeah, it. I think you can. I'm going like looking at the audio mixer, so I'm basing on that, trusting that you guys are hearing that. See? Yeah. So it is loading. Okay, so you guys can hear like there is sounds, the rev of the engine and all that. So I'm gonna check first. The fog, it is more playable, I guess. Later on I want to have like a first person perspective. Either way, like a third person. Or we can do like first person like this inside of the car kind of deal. Um so people can either way choose to have a third person or a first person character. I think it's more immersive because of the character we'll be playing in first person. It is logical to have the car in first person too. Um, yeah, the problem with the fog, it is that as you guys can see, maybe you can see it not that much, that bluish tint. We need to be fixing that. Um, for example, well, it's looking pretty much okay. Yes, yes, looking good. Let's play a little bit so we can see the day and night cycle. Um, put it on first, so it is more close to that. Um, so let's see. So yeah, this is an example, I guess, right here. So if we look at the horizon, that is the problem that I'm trying to fix a little bit. Um, now that I'm seeing, maybe it's because of the light. Oh yeah, okay, that is kind of interesting that the light of the card it is um having effect on the horizon itself. Maybe it's way too powerful, I guess. Oh, okay, we're down. Yeah, maybe we need to be fixing that because it is way too much um energy, I guess. So we're looking too much at the end. But the horizon itself, I guess it is doable for now. It's looking great, kind of acceptable, I guess, as for now. The fog itself, it is too. We don't need the light asset for now, so we can do the light meter, and we can have hidden on the HUD. There is like hidden. We don't need that. That either the sanity. We're not using the sanity for now, so put that hidden too. And let's go again with the energy. The car. Let's go with a normal of maybe 60. Um, I don't know if it is the indirect light. Um, oh, it is the distant fade. So at the distant fade, we can have maybe begin the distance on 0. Um, maybe more shorter length. I don't know. Will be. I'll do that. Let's go with begin on 0. Um, not distant fade at all. Let's do like not a distant fade. Um, let's do shadows, of course. Um, but we can do it each one, I believe. Um, two. Yeah, I guess we can do. We only have one. Like more shorter, much more shorter, but much more energy. A bit more. This one needs to be more tighter. We can copy paste anyways the parameters, so it's not doing that. The range it is, yeah, 23 meters. Let's do 20 meters for both, I guess. 20 meters. The energy is 60. On the volumetric fog, it is 1 and 1. So we will be checking that. So for the shadows, normal bias, reverse, transparency, opacity. Okay, maybe is this parameter, we will be checking that. both are in like almost 26, so there's no problem with that. The rotation position visible. So again, not visible for now. And let's go back to the demo and let's try again. It is uploading the scene. Let's play the scene again. And hopefully it's always doing the game capture. Yeah, it is. I can get this, have a bit screen. Loading. The loading screen, of course, will be changing it too. It is just like basic loading screen. Maybe like with a please wait or something like that. Go and check if it is messing with the it is messing with the distance of the LOD. I guess we have to go to that special place again. Do we have a better reference? And we're trying, you know. Whoa. Calm down. And we're, you know, trying again, like how the lights is looking. It's looking pretty well too. So the FOB, sorry, the fog, volumetric fog, it does looks somewhat nice, but it is, yeah, looking at the distance, that change, I don't like that. Maybe it has to be in 0, so it is not the LOD itself where we were looking at the distance, but the fog itself. So maybe let's put it to 0. Oh, oh, that was a cool trick. Yeah, it is doing it again. Maybe we're doing the lighting on the volumetric fog itself. So let's put it to 0. Then with the light and the fog, let's put it 0 on both. And we'll be checking that. Hopefully it does change that problem, that detail. Okay, so yeah, it was the volumetric fog. kind of deal with the lightning, because we are now can't see if we change, turn off or on the light at the distance. There is no modifier to the fog itself, but it may look less realistic, I guess, this close of a distance. So maybe we can do go back to a much more wider angle and much more well, three things that we mess with. So the angle, how far it is, and the energy. We will be changing that again. Yeah, we can see it is not affecting the fog. So yeah, let's go back. And again, we can do, let's go to 140. Let's do the distant fade as we have it, like normal. And for the spot, let's do again 30 for both, and an angle of, let's say, 27. So let's see. The save and load system states it does work with a problem that we need to be fixing the logic for the card to be saving. As for now, I need to have a logic for the car in a freeze state, so the physics it is stopping the car, and we can have um the car in which state you can save it per se. Because basically, if the car is moving, if I don't have the freeze, like for example, if I go out in the car, I'm freezing the car but not the tire, so we need the logic maybe in the tires itself, because there is like a weird glitch, a weird bug in which if the car is moving too much and we save it, the energy momentum is still being saved, so the car is like running around, be pretty much crazy. So we need to be changing that to either way freeze the tires, yeah, or do some magic upon that, because the only logic for now to be moving, and if I go out and the car is still moving and I save and load it, this state of the car will not be saved in the car, even though we save our location, the items, and why not, the car is not being saved in the state, so the car will be like moving, never being loaded, saved or loaded in the state of the position, X and Y and Z position on the map. So we need to be changing that too. And the last biggest deal for me as for now, it is to be reparenting the camera. Maybe a more experienced person find this easy, or like I'm kind of stupid, but for me I don't find right now a solution. So the LOD is being loaded on the car camera, and if we basically go out in the distance, the LOD and the map will not be loading, so we need to be looking at that too. So yeah, for now the lightning, the light, sorry, of the car headlights, they turn it off and on, it is working and all that. We just fixed the problem with the fog. It was just a fog multiplier, the light being multiplied on the fog to the distance. Right now it's pretty well. You guys can hear the rev engine, and why not? Maybe we have different cars. There will be some. Oh, there will be some kind of. See if we can save the car. Oh, started. Okay. Put the clutch. Hit it. Oh. Put it again in neutral. Maybe on reverse. Okay. And we just kind of save it. Yeah, we save it. Go reverse again a little bit. And let's hit it on neutral first. The car will turn itself up. There is like the same logic as a real life car, sorry, in which if we are in first of any gear, why not? And we have already some revolutions going up. You can hit the clutch, and the car will turn on. We have brake too, and there is like normal brake, hand brake, sorry. We have hand brake and normal brakes, I guess. You can see in the tire forces too. We have the like real, it's a simulator, but there I have simulating the gas. We have fuel. The fuel does it is being modified on the revolution. I just realized that, if for example we are neutral, we put it on first, it just turn off, and there is like real gear braking, for example. So you don't need to be pushing the brakes as hard, going down. We put it on neutral, the car will go fast, and we put it on first, it will kind of, do the braking a little bit, help like in a real life car. So far so good. We almost died there. The day and night cycle, it is working, as you guys can see. It is an hour, 24 minutes to full midnight to noon, when the sun will be the more harsh, and like 12 p.m. So in the last stream today we changed the stars too, so the stars do not appear at the horizon down, just the horizon up. And we do some tweaking magic upon kind of for example, if we look there at the distance, you can kind of see the FOV, sorry, the LOD of the terrain 3D, and that is pretty much the fog playing around the fog with the sky horizon. So we may need another color, or why not? It is much more of a color correction and finding the best, I guess, theme for the game. It is much more. It is not as a challenge for. We almost died there. It is not a challenge, like technical wise. It is not because of programming or coding or something. It is much more of an artistic implementation of, what are the colors gonna be for the game. margins, checking if the the light it is not being affected. Yeah. The road, I don't know if to make it much more bigger, or we can either fix the car. That's again where we are gonna be doing in this stream, hopefully, to change the car size so it is much more smaller. So basically the road will be halfway bigger, so it is not for, like, say a single car, one way down, one way up. It will be like two-way um road. It may be more easier, I guess, to play around, but we can tweak either way that to make the mountain much more narrow, so the road is much more smaller as far as the mountain, so you guys can see we're almost all the way down to the mountain. Oh, oh, let's try to save it. We can put it on first, and hopefully, yeah, we did save it. Let's see if we can go up this hill. Yeah, can. Oh, there is turbo too. Maybe when we are in the kind of highway, you guys can see that there is all that psi and pressure. This is in 18 psi. So at the top, you guys can see it. Maybe, yeah, I guess you can see it. It is 176 horsepower. This car specific car tuning. Hopefully, if we can fix the camera ring parenting, there will be no problem having multiple cars. So yeah, I'll be doing that too. We can have like AVS and cars without AVS, 4x4, and all that. So we're kind of almost in the highway. And we are like, yeah, now right now this is like the highway per se. You guys can hear the more of the turbo. We have supercharger too. Delay and all that. So again, if we go to like first person, maybe it's better to be doing the first person. As you guys can see, we're running out of fuel. We need to have like pump stations too, or items that we can interact and refuel, of course, the car. Right now I don't have that. Down. Put it on third, I guess. But I hope to have like some kind of heat implementation. You can blow up the car motor, for example, if we are like revving it too much. Like if we keep it like this. That will be cool too. So you guys, be doing like in third and not cranking up the engine way too much, because you can blow it up. So we can have like a logic, kind of reverse logic with the fuel, in which the gauge will go 0 to 100. So it is like correlation with the revolutions, the RPM. So the more RPM the car is being up, the more the more heat will be going up. Celsius, either Celsius or Fahrenheit. We need like some signs so you guys don't lose track or where is the track. We're going like super fast. There is like a curve or like a road sign, to tell there is like an intersection and why not. The map is pretty big. Um, a lot of highways. I'll be trying to do like some Easter eggs and some implementation in the mystery of, for example, right here, we go back. Um, these Y intersections. Um, will be kind of fun, kind of interesting to lose track or like which way to go, either left or right, you know, and that will be depending in where you're trying to go, which house, which delivery, which objective you're trying to be making. Um, Again, you can go pretty fast if you know like the track already. I'll try to do the LOD much more bigger, so there is no problem with that. Again, hopefully different cars. So this is like the turbo one. Let's do much more of a bus or like a 4x4 in which the raycast on the wheels are more damped. So there's like a much more play with the suspension, more rigid suspension on like a race car, so it is not moving like this and we're not losing track. As I just did, we up it up and we're in the middle of nowhere and the car is this is another stuff that we have to do, like how to save a car. If the car is like that and we are in the middle of nowhere, what could we do as a gameplay? Will be pretty much boring or maybe interesting. In the future we'll be checking that. um how can we implement the logic if the car is effed up? Maybe we can call, or again we can do the loading. So if the car wasn't freeze, that is the thing that I'm telling before. That would be a problem if the car was still moving a little bit. If we load it like here, the car will be all the way to that part that was crashed, which doesn't make sense at all. um so yeah, so far the day and night cycle, it is working, pretty much clear. So yeah, let's stop it. It is, yeah, pretty much running. This is the gas. But if we look in the FPS, there is not much problem at all. We're running at the magic 60 FPS, so we can be more cheeky. And let's put it into a much more bigger LOD. And the trees too, so it is more you can look more far away at the distance without having issues on the loading state and the overall performance of the FPS. So in terrain 3D, let's do 7 to go back to 48, save it, and again with the trees, we can do on the LODs. Let's go for a double. Let's try to be cheeky with the doubles. Let's do 1 kilometer basically. With the second, 400, 1400, sorry. And the last one, and the rocks, why not? I don't have that many rocks, honestly, but um, of course there will be much more assets in the, in the background to be more animated. Multi-mesh. This is like a multi-mesh instance, so it is not um having our own overall performance damage, I guess. So you can add it any mesh, here. This is like an example LD and texture. If you want grass or why not, we will be tweaking that maybe on the future. Um, let's try again. This um this one will be testing. Let's do the loading. Why not? Hopefully it does work. It does. It is not changing the state of the loading. Doesn't matter the LOD and the the tweaks that we just made with the loading state, um, with the position of the player and all that doesn't matter. I think pretty kind of sure, kind of hope that. So yeah, we almost lost it. So um, maybe I need to be later on tweaking the saving the state of the cycle, because if we reset and load it, you go again to full night, even though if we save it on day cycle, it is not saving the cycle, the day and night cycle. That'd be something to be concerned about, I guess. So let's, again, sorry, I need to go here. Let's go to debugger. Let's go to start and to see the visual profiler. And in the output, we can do, this is because we have as a second playing this, but as soon as we are here, there's no problem. Another thing I have been done is I can turn off the car. There is a button to, of course, turning the car off. So while we're riding, if the car is not being using, being the engine on, the debugger will not be analyzing frame by frame the gas being used. So this is a much more, I guess, easier way to see the FPS overall. Let's hope we are not crashing. close it right here. Doesn't matter. This is because we turn it on, the car. This is the part that was turned off. And as you guys can see, it is in the Magic 60. And on the debugger, even though we don't have, that much more data, the one, yeah, it is the render with 7 ms. A lot, kind of a lot, honestly, but we're in the 60s still, so it doesn't matter, honestly. So let's save it. As for now, I'm gonna do a GitHub request so we can do like better car lights and trees, LOD, rain. Basically what we just did. Push to origin. Better safe than sorry, for game devs. GitHub is like your super friend. So, um, I guess let's go. I'm not sure to go again. Either to make the car smaller, which will make the map much more bigger itself, or the character to fix the logic on when you sit down and all that I was talking about. Mm, so like for example, I do like an entire transform and to change it to like 0.5. The problem that is saying it is the scale changes to a rigid body 3D will be overridden by the physics engine when running to change the size of the chiller collision instead. So because I'm a noob and I don't know what is the deal with that, honestly, how to do that. It's good to a good old semi-friend Gemini and GPT, or why not? Let's ask like for Godot 4.5. 0.5 my car. The car itself, it is a rigid body 3D. Um Overridden physics. So let's see how can help me. So yeah, maybe it's the raycast that is be doing the damage. So if we go um to go back, um the collision shape, we can erase the collision shape, the car mesh, the part that we want on like a normal scale, which if we do it like um to this, I believe it is a good scaling for the problem that I have. Let's do again, create a collision mesh, so there's no problem with that. um Static body. Wait, so it was, I go back. Um, 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 but yeah, I can do either way to make it that. As for the wheels, I believe the wheels are, that is the problem in a scale of 1. So for example, if we have this and we play the game, what could happen? If the car does run, we do know for a fact that it is the wheels, of course, um, that is doing the damage to the logic. So we need to change the position on the car wheels, to be fitted on the car itself. This was like several months ago, so I honestly do not remember how I made the car. Yeah, okay. Let's load it again. Yeah, as you can see, if because it is still moving, even if I load the state, it will mean that going. So yeah, it's basically the ray casting. So let's go back. There's no problem with that. So we can select front wheels. Um, so in the front tire, where is the ray cast? Not mm, maybe the ray cast I can do to halfway to 0.5 minus. Sorry. So it is halfway. Yeah. So let's see. Do not save the scene. We do have the raycast, I believe, here too. Yeah. So because it is a halfway, let's see if we can do it like entire raycast. Yeah. So let's change it to it will be halfway to 1.5. And to transform it, 0.5. Um, and we do like the front. Oh, the front. Sorry, the front. You know, like that. Again with the rear. Kind of there. Now both fronts go back. And both or the rears about this position. And let's hope this change did in fact um, made the car with no problems upon that. Let's do fingers crossed, because if we fix this, there will be no problem um anymore of the car jumping in and all that. Let's hope for, I believe it is the raycast. It is way too, too small to. And we have a problem with the car collision. We cannot enter the car. There's a problem there. So let's do all the tires. Let's do around here maybe. And for the player exit, here, player interaction component. I don't believe it was that. We'll see. I believe it was the player exit, right? The problem. Um, Maybe it's too small. We will see. As long as for now the main problem it is the car not bouncing like crazy, and the raycast is kind of working. So let's hope for that, and then we can do the fix with the player exit. Still too much. We cannot interact with the car. Let's go again with the tires. Put it, I guess, all the way down. Um, just for the heck of it. Let's put the scale. I don't think it's this. Honestly, I don't remember, but let's do the box. So it is big enough for us to pick it up, or we can go back to the GitHub last session and we can mess around with that to remember how the card was with the logic entering the system. For now, I care the car honestly just move so we can check it is the logic with the rate casting, and if it's that problem that is being fixed because of the raycast, we have pretty much set resolve the problem, and the map will be pretty much a lot more bigger because of it. uh, okay, so yeah, as you can see, it did kind of work, but it didn't. Like, um, okay, but it is much more logical. We're getting there, I guess. No, it's a small car. Let's just try for the heck of it. And even if it is like super bug, I just want to check the size of the road, how the road is being dead. So yeah, it is overall the physics, the damping. So we can do like the damping, basically everything the halfway. Bum, bum, bum. Leave it the caster and the rebound to a 0.5. The elasticity to a 0.5. Let's hope it is just that. Um, put this to 2. Let's do the tire pressure 2 to 10. Let's see. No, definitely not. Definitely there is a problem with that. Um, what is another problem we can fix? Maybe it is the script. Um, because the ring size and all that it is half. So let's try to check that. This will be 90, 93, well 92.5. Be exact. The grip influence it is not a problem. Um, Traction force. Yeah, I believe is this part. Mm, I believe it is only that variable because of course the rim is no longer that the size of the tires. So let's tweak with that. If this is the answer, then we can go back and change all the other parameters. I believe it was the width and the rim size. Um, Kinda, I guess. Okay, so I guess I can no longer enter the car. That is a problem. Hmm. Maybe the power bias. Hmm. Maybe the geometry. Hmm. Maybe the impact force. Large wheels. Set it higher depending on how big it is. Let's do to 0.5. And if it is not, honestly, I'll be surrendering and we need to be studying much more all the logic that we have for the car. Because honestly, the scaling down on the physics, um, of course, it is the component on the wheels itself. It is not the car or the doesn't matter car itself. Let's go again with the raycast. I want to check that. Um, the raycast was 3.2. And if the raycast it is being like the car goes more crazy, then we go back to 1, I guess. Oh, oh, sorry. Minus. Yeah, but as you can see, it was like, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so it was the tire size. It was not the raycast. Um, Now I need to fix how the car logic to enter it. So the card it is no longer jumping around, so it is not the raycast. For it was the saturation. Um, so let's go to the player exit. Honestly, to be bigger. Let's see if it is this part. Okay, it is not. Um, kind of forgot. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe the player itself, because of course the card is like way much smaller. There is a problem with that. So in the card there is a card detector, card indication, the card detector, which this is the raycast for the camera, the card detector collision shape. We do a bigger scale and detect the car more. Um, this one I believe. Click it. Oh, this is the pickup zone. It's not this one. I believe it's, yeah, it's the car detector part. Let's see. And if we did it, then we're kind of set. Yep. Okay. So we finally have a mini car. Yeah, with no problem at all whatsoever. Um, so we can have it like, for example, here. I guess it got stuck. Yeah. We need tires more down. So let's do it like that. And let's tweak around with the things that we were messing around. We need to check the GitHub on the wheel. We did change the width, the size, the radio. On the base car, the tire pressure, the caster, the damping. Um, so let's see. The caster, change it again to 2. It was in 2. The S damping was 4. Not 44. Let's do one by one, I guess. Until so the caster was 2 and the damping was 4. Was 2 too, sorry. Sorry, the caster 1 and the damping was in 4. In 2. So now it is 2 and 4. Okay, so let's go to caster and damping. And let's see if there is no problem with that. Okay. Okay, so the problem was with the damping and of course the car position on the tires. So we can have, you know, the test to go again with the tire pressure of 20. We did change the rebound damping. Was in 1. The AR elasticity to 0. Sorry, the I believe it was 0.1, right? Um, Okay, we'll fix it. So we finally did a super important part. The problem because the road, of course, as you can see, it is way much like bigger, I guess, for us, and the map is double sized. Um, keeping that logic, of course. Oh, okay, that doesn't matter. It's another deal. So the AR density, right? It is the LS. There is no other. Yeah. Um, it is one for all of them, right? Right. Right. Okay. So again, we're the so the S damping again in 4, 1. Um, it was 0. I do have another car. Let's go check the car. Example 22, just to be sure. Um, yeah. And if we go to car 23, there is another car. If we check the tires, it is um yeah, point 1. And I do have like a little tweaks, why not? But as for the ones that we are messing around, it was, yeah, was the B saturation that we have. All of them is 0.1. We will be changing that again. If we checking the screen, yeah. If we want less, yeah, it is larger wheels. Yeah. Okay. So um what other thing that damping? Yeah. So we can do in the scripting. Yeah, let's do the scripting again. Let's put it how it was. 1.0 for the script. And for the base car, we do the B saturation on 0.5 because we don't want to mess with all the cars. So the wheel. Well, do we have the um what's the geometry? Yeah, that doesn't matter that much because um let's do the expert aspect radio again. Let's put it in what it was to see something. 185.0. The script is not being messed around, but the wheels itself here. So we can do, for example, the ring size 7. 92. Oh well, why I cannot do? Yeah, then 7, 2, 30. So everyone, my bad. So as for the wheel, didn't nothing. The V saturation is basically what we did. The biggest deal. Not even the raycast. And if not, we go back. Well, we don't need to go back because the aspect radio and the width and all that, we did it in the same in the already in the script for these cars specifically. We did mess around with something that the car didn't like it. So the only thing that we were messing around was this. Let's hope. I guess, yeah, it doesn't matter that much because we'll scale it down. So we will see. Yeah. So literally the only thing that um we're doing the problem, it was yeah. see. Yeah, the only problem was that bias. We can change this little guy look camera. Oh, I like that. You can see like in the camera. Save it again. The camera is supposed to be closer. Oh no, sorry, because we're not using this camera, we're using the camera in the demo scene. So we need to go to with this one, go to demo. This is the camera that we're using, the cam chase. That is the camera that we don't need to change. Cam chase. Guys, way down, way up there. Wait, where is the cam chase? Oh, maybe it's the scripting. The default cam position. Believe it is the right position. Let's do it in 2. Um, the gizmo extends to 10. It is closer. Right? If it's closer. Uh, and I think it's not working. Either way, we're super close already. Just minor issues. Maybe we need the double or of the weight, so it's not as a toy. It doesn't have that toy feel. There is just minor tweaks, honestly, or even doing the to a 0.4, for example. Yeah, let's do the magic on the base car with the four wheels, the desaturation. Let's do even a 0.3. And for the car, we can do the car um wait um the wait like let's do to 1,000. Oh, maybe it was the weight. Let's go again with the and if not, let's go to a 0.6 because we were close, or even more weight. Honestly, let's see. It was the weight. Let's go to 5. Yeah, it feels more with more weight. And of course, to change the positioning of the light. Yeah, it feels more natural, a little bit more natural. Yeah, it feels more realistic. Feels some tweaking. Okay, let's go even more. I guess extreme with the saturation. Let's put it to 1. Yeah, it does feel more realistic, a little bit more. Maybe with the gravity itself. Yeah, it feels better, much better. Okay. So I guess this is for now, for today. Um, so we did change the the weight, the transform, and the V saturation. So for this final, it was V saturation 2.1 and what else we did today for this transform? Yeah, it is a scale to 0.5. The camera is first to 5. Take the car. The saturation. Zero point 0.1. Camera position 4 to 2. Chase cam. And what else? The wheel, we did not nothing. And for the demo, it's just the gizmo. And we're pretty much set. So we can bots. Okay, guys. So I just want to check like to the camera and the car. Now I'm just want to bring it down all the way to the mountain, to down. Wait, what is? Oh yeah, trailer. Sorry. I just want to check like the highway. What is the size right now because of the vehicle? Of course, will be double by logic. Okay, maybe it's not the fault of the car. Let's go again. Um, okay, yeah, it's because of the um where I'm appearing, where is exiting. So if we go to the car, we do the player exit is not supposed to be around here. And either way, the player interaction component and the transform, it doesn't matter. This is the player exit here. Maybe, just to be sure, let's do the player exit and component here, and the fire exhaust to be in the exhaust bay particles. It was that. Of course, the lamps are way bigger, so we will be needing to change that too. Um, and there is a problem with that too because maybe of the damping forces the and the stiffness of the suspension. We need a oh no, not the suspension itself, but the how the tires angle and how fast the tires are being turned. So that is a problem too, because of the scale. So we need the tires to be being more close, sorry, more slower, and in a less of an angle when we are like turning the wheels like this. Oh, and there is a problem. Like I just realized the the rear wheels are turning too, so there is a problem. But as for the for the problem um on the car, bumping and all that, we just fix it. So there is no problem. And the road is not so, exaggerated, it's not like giant per se, just the maybe the lamps are way too big for the size of the character, or maybe not, there is lamps this big either way. So as for that problem, just to finish it, the rear ones, they cannot um yeah, you cannot steer them. We go back, it should be an easy fix. So you cannot change the position. It is only, they only turn in an axis, which basically that input, going left to right is changing in the z axis. Um, yeah. Yep, it is fixed. Um, about this camera does not concern on that for now. Um, as you can see, the tires are going like inside, and we need to change that too. Which I believe it was because of um the position um on the da-da-da, not transform but the raycast. Okay, so let's go again to car. It was 3.2, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's do the raycast again to a normal. 3.2. What will happen? It is that. So 2 minus 1.2 and sorry, just minus 1. And the tires are flat. Um, oh, like a minus 2. And this one will be 2. So we did change the raycast to 1. I need to fix that on GitHub just to a reminder because I didn't do that. So I don't, mess around with that. I didn't fix it. No. We can do I guess, the weight. And not the weight. And I guess the suspension, the stiffness. This is the steer. The um 6.2. This is the part that we need to change the sleep function. Let's put this text out. um I believe I think it did change it. But let's go back to that. Be on GitHub again. Gotta change the air stiffness. Um did I change just the air stiffness? Just that, honestly, I just forgot. I guess I'll watch the YouTube um until this part. So your stiffness and yeah, I guess. I was about to change the elasticity. Yeah, their stiffness was just the only thing, right? Do again. Let's try it again. I'm pretty concerned. Well, GitHub is telling me that I just honestly just changed that and Godot, but yeah, I can compare with the other cars honestly. And see the difference. No way. As it is the speed of the stiffness, the front wheel. How it was it? I guess in project. Um um mm, it was the steer angle. And I forgot honestly what it was steer angle. Uh was cast to global translation. Let me check again. I guess we'll do that tomorrow. So this is the end of the stream. So you guys, tomorrow we'll be tweaking on the angles, a little bit more on the car. Um, that's pretty